Thank you for joining me today. My name is Brantley Smith. I'm a lead generation consultant and owner of ClickTrack Media. Today we're going to talk a little bit about generating a leads ecosystem for a property management or a rental company, primarily in the multifamily or apartment industry, or even the individual unit or IUM industry as well. This also applies pretty much to real estate companies across the board, and most any company that has any type of a business to consumer or business to business product or service. But today we're going to focus on property management. This is a system that actually is in place. It's working for it's currently in place for one of Florida's largest property management companies that I worked with and continue to work with. The objective here is to identify the major components that a property management company has to deal with from an advertising perspective, from a lead management perspective, from an ROI or return on your investment perspective against ad dollars or marketing dollars. So the objective here is to look at how to automate or streamline getting new property management contracts, automate or streamline the rental availability to advertise on your company website and beyond, and how can we throw kind of a cast net around all of the leads for prospecting, whether it be from our own websites, from email forms on the website, contact us pages, for instance, telephone numbers on the websites, individual telephone numbers or email addresses for individual leasing agents or property managers that you have out there on the websites. Third-party websites, perhaps you might buy leads from All Property Management or another company, property management lead provider. Your online advertising efforts, Google AdWords pay-per-click campaigns, for instance, and much more, or even direct mail and offline type of marketing and advertising efforts. How do we throw a cast net around all of those potential client touch points when we're prospecting? So when a business to business or a business to consumer type of prospecting effort is taking place, how do we know that it was effective and it worked, and what was our cost on a per lead basis for that? And ultimately, how did it impact revenue? Which is kind of the golden nugget of typically unattainable information, at least easily. So we're going to look at a scenario here where you have a property management company that's using Yardi Voyager property management software. You can substitute for whatever property management software you're currently using in your organization, or your rental management software. What we're going to do is talk about creating a nightly listing syndication. So ultimately what we're trying to do on the rental side is how can we better organize your rental information, have one point of data in your property management software that has all of the advertising information you need as well. So all of the photos that are associated to a particular rental unit or even a community, apartment community, all of the amenities, unit amenities, community amenities, the description of the property or community, all of the deposit information. Do you have pet deposit, security deposit, and so forth. So any information that you would normally have to provide when you're putting it out on MLS or rentals.com or Apartment Guide or wherever you're advertising your rental listings, it would be maintained ultimately in your property management solution. In the case of Yardi Voyager, we have real specific experience in creating the modifications needed to be able to store that information. Now, every single night in this scenario, we would syndicate or push out all that listing information from your property management software out to your corporate business to consumer or consumer-facing website. This would be a website that you may already have, or maybe you don't have and you would need, that would house all of your rental listings in the form of advertising. So it would have all the photos and descriptions. Renter candidates could go out there and discover your website and search for based off of whatever parameter, the range of rent that they're comfortable with paying, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the location by zip code or city state, or possibly by a map. So however they're finding those rental availabilities on your website, your corporate website. Now the next trick of that is to say, okay, well, that's great, we're going to be able to drive some traffic to our corporate consumer-facing website, but really most of the rental listings and the leads that are going to come from those are going to come from all these different sites out here. And this is just a sample of some of the sites that we can syndicate to. But every single night, again, after it pulls from your property management database and goes to your corporate website, we can then syndicate out beyond your corporate consumer-facing website to Zillow and Rentals.com and rentalhouses.com and condo.com, or any of those paid or unpaid or free syndication partners. So whether you're paying to advertise your properties on certain websites, or whether it's like a Zillow or an Oodle and they don't actually charge you, we can set up a fee to each and every single one of them, and ultimately push your individual listings out to 20, 30 different websites automatically every single night without ever having to touch anything or upload a picture. This is incredibly powerful. So now the thing to remember is when we syndicate these out, how are we going to track all those leads? They're beyond our website. They're on other companies' real estate websites. And the trick is to embed call tracking numbers and links back to your corporate rental listing that have the web lead forms, where essentially, no matter whether they call or they click, we're going to be able to track that activity. And I'll explain a little bit more about how we'll track that. It's not just going to be simple how many people called information. It's actually going to be much more dynamic than that. So that covers the business to consumer side of it. In addition to that, on the B2C side, we will have potentially lead forms out there, your contact us page, a phone number, either a toll-free phone number, a local phone number, or possibly phone numbers if you have property managers or leasing agents or real estate agents that have their own profile. We can put call tracking numbers, individual call tracking numbers for each of those purposes that ultimately will get tracked in the leads management system, which we'll talk about in a second. So moving on to the B2B side, we're looking at acquiring new contracts, whether it be in multifamily or individual unit. It could be anything. It could be resort management. It could be commercial property management. It doesn't make a difference. We've done it all. We've done it all simultaneously with even single entities or organizations. So you have your business-to-business website, which will have a series probably of lead forms. If not, we can build them for you. So for every line of business, whether you have one line of business or 4 or 5 lines of business, we have lead forms that are designed to capture information from potential property owner clients, as well as phone numbers that all again tie into the leads management system. Third-party websites, even ones you don't own or control, we can tie into any of them that will allow us to do so. And we found that the vast majority of the ones in the property management and real estate industry are willing to work with us, and we've worked with many of them. Online advertising websites, again, efforts like Google pay-per-click. You might have an ad that actually contains a call tracking number in it, lead forms, dynamic banners that lead back to your corporate B2B website where they ultimately call you or submit a form. All of this information, and even one more that's not even represented here, any type of direct mail campaigns that go directly to association boards of directors if you're an association management, or investment groups or REITs or property owners that have matched up with the type of target audience that you're trying to reach. So you want to manage their property. All of those touch points, whether they call or go on a website and click, are all going to end up here in leads management system. This leads management system is ultimately a streamlined customer relationship management tool that is not a Salesforce. It's not your typical ACT or other CRM solution. It's designed to be extremely easy to use, and especially for salespeople or business development people that don't want another tool to have to deal with, or the ones that they have are too cumbersome. This system is very automated. So as soon as the leads come in from any of those sources, whether it be a telephone call, a direct mail campaign, a web to lead form, instantaneously generates a lead. And based off of the business rules, and this is B2B or B2C, so it all dumps into the same database. The system, based off the business rules, we know how to get it out to the salespeople or business development people that you need it to go to based off of the line of business, based off of attributes of that property. So perhaps the location of the situs address or the property address by zip code. It goes to certain people in certain geographical areas that cover those areas. Whatever your sales model is, we can create the business rules behind the leads management system that allow it to automatically and dynamically communicate those leads out to the appropriate people via email as well as mobile SMS texting. And the information is right there on their phone or their email, and they can act on that information immediately and then update the system. It's incredibly powerful. Little things such as if the lead ages more than several hours or several days, depending on what your requirements are, will notify, for instance, the manager above that sales or business development person, or can send out a reminder to that person. It can reassign it to another salesperson or business development person. It goes on and on. So we have incredible flexibility and power to manage the leads themselves, so you have the highest possible conversion rates without letting those leads get stale. The beauty of all this is it empowers leadership, it empowers sales managers, it empowers vice presidents of divisions, it empowers CEOs, owners with the information, the business intelligence that they need to understand everything about their business, from click call to closed business, in the form of what campaign sources are working, how are my advertising and marketing dollars being spent, what's my cost per lead by campaign source, how are my sales channels working, what's the most effective sales channel by conversion percentage, which ones are converting better, which salespeople are converting better. And it gives you the ability to go identify problems there as well and work and challenge those people to improve and be more competitive against the rest of your sales organization. It further lets you identify closed business and draw reports against the impact on revenue, total revenue, which will tell you again, based off of the advertising and marketing efforts over a period of time, we have generated a net gain or net loss of X dollars. That is the piece of information that very few businesses have in this day and age, and it's the number one piece of information that they all need to be more efficient and more profitable in understanding how to make good business decisions. So that being said, it's a lot of information to take in. This is a very high level look. There's a lot of detail to it, but this is a system that can be set up for any property management or real estate company, rental company, across multifamily, apartment, commercial, realty, individual unit management, resort, you name it. So I encourage you, if you have any interest in learning more about how this type of a system or some variation of this system could potentially help you with your business, please do contact us. You can locate me, Brantley Smith, at brantley.me, which is a website, or at clicktrackmedia.com. And my phone number is 813-389-8326. I am an independent consultant and available to take on new clients. I hope you've enjoyed this little mini presentation of the Leads ecosystem for property management. Take care and have a nice day.